been a long time coming.
Hasn't it?
It has.
Hasn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to the Tech School Podcast powered by DSDT. Season 3, Episode 1 underway. Three. How's it going, Karlos? I'm Josh.
Hi, how you doing, Josh? I'm Karlos.
Hey, likewise.
Right? Man, we got so much to get into this year.
Yes.
I am looking forward. We decided to change the format around some in the sense that not only will we be speaking to students who have taken the program and completed it, they're doing some great and amazing things in their lives now, but we also want to begin to venture into some of the other technologies that are on the horizon and those that I really think our community need to have more information about so that they can understand a lot more about them. Right. So we heard quite a few buzzwords as we were ending the year last, such as metaverse and all these things about virtual reality and NFTs and traditionally DSDT hasn't necessarily been involved in those technologies, but it's something that we really are considering and we're moving towards having programs as such. So we want to start having conversations with those thought leaders as of right now that have been doing this for years, get some of their impressions and their opinions about what's going on in the space and how our community might be able to gather from it as well.
Let's do it. So who do we have? A gentleman by the name of Jeremy who's going to join this discussion?
So let me tell you a quick story about Jeremy because I love Jeremy. We had an office party back in Christmas, and our good friend Jason Chapman was there, and he brought his friend Jeremy. And I had quite an extensive conversation with Jeremy, and I come to learn that he's been in the virtual design space for quite some time, and he's working with one of the startups here in the city of Detroit that I found really intriguing. And so I wanted to bring him on as probably our first guest because he's so knowledgeable about the things that are taking place in the space. So without much ado, why don't we just bring Jeremy on and he can explain to us all what it is that he does.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Good to meet both of you, of course, and Karlos. We had a blast. So, my background is 1990. Somebody showed me a Commodore 64, and it could dial up, and I could download things from wherever. It was, the birth of the internet. How cool. And that was when I was like, I never want to play a game again. I want to connect to other people and be able to reach out and have some sort of dialogue with people globally at any time on the fly. And as with a hacker mind that I can learn things about, like, I don't know, how does that traffic light work? How does this other thing work? How anything I see that has some sort of tech probably associated with it, how cool would it be to know how to operate that thing, whether I would have the opportunity or not, maybe though that I would be able to at least talk about it with another person. So add 30 years to that learning curve. So I would say let's just do high school, graduated in 94, Lance Cruz. So we're all locals. And right, nothing like Harrison Township, awesome, but apartment complex, nothing fancy. However, what I got to get into right away was working with a family member, my uncle, and he had a tool and die shop. So I was able to get into Visual Fox Pro like immediately, like 1995. Start programming like back-end databases, learning code, pretty much, but still being terrible at it. I'm 19, right? Like, and it's the dawn of the internet and code and sharing, right? You don't necessarily nowadays you get access to Stack Share and you can kind of sneak a little code here and there and test it and make sure it works right before you outright steal it and put it into your own project. However, what I got to get into very soon after that is network security, which was like the coolest. Build firewalls. Like I've had the opportunity to work with Delphi, GM, Ford, Chrysler, build all of their. If anyone wants to look this up later, ANX, Automotive Network Exchange. And that was a time when everyone was using VPNs to connect back to the major automotive suppliers and download blueprints and all of the anything that needed to any data that needed to be transmitted to the uh, the third party manufacturers to create the tool and die, to create any pieces that needed to be made for any car, and huge boom for Detroit at that time in the early 2000s. Then I was able to kind of start to transition into hardcore networking and then really into uh, in the past 5 years programming C++, C Sharp, whatever else needed to be done to contribute to Unreal Engine, which I have ideas about to use for things maybe in a more utility sense, instead of just having people log into the metaverse and run around and trade, hats or gloves or outfits or NFTs. But maybe like that there's an opportunity there to use it as, let's say, a network administrator might like to run around his network, and instead of looking through log files, we get to see the traffic real time that's being coming into your corporate network and going out, and have the opportunity. Imagine instead of like a gun or something, right? You're a third person character running around, but you might be able to have in your inventory a tool that lets you stop that traffic or lets you monitor that traffic. So stuff like that. So that's my dream, right? But like in the meantime, ask questions. But with Raxplay, they have a straight up metaverse solution and ideas that they have going on.
So you've been working with Raxplay, and I understand that Raxplay is it a sort of metaverse of kinds?
What they would like to do is connect music artists to their fan base, let's say. So they would like to be able to, and it's been done before. However, the opportunity in the playground is immense. It's as the start of and I think what was said at the beginning of the show, that the space is very open, and it's as if we have an opportunity to tap into the next internet, whatever that might mean to certain people. So they would like to connect artists to fans and allow them to have a intimate experience via VR, and allow them to just connect with artists they appreciate as a fan.
So now I'm listening to you explain the whole 1990 scene. When you first get into programming and the Commodore 64. Of course, we all remember that as that are of age. it sounds as if you are describing the landscape of what's going on now, almost as if it's kind of a rebirth or sorts for the technology of old, or is it? Help explain to me what's so significant about the day and time we're in when it comes to AR, VR, all of these different technologies that we're hearing so much about.
Yeah, perfect. Great question. And let me give you what I see as a probable future. The VR side of it is going to be that we're learning how to integrate all of these systems, and we're learning how to use NFTs to. The thing about an NFT, and it's great, something like, for an example, IBM's Hyperledger, which they have given out to the world open source. So with the processing power that's available to many startups, an NFT could really become every transaction. Like, you log in, it's an NFT. You go through your VR experience, you have multiple NFTs happening, and each one of them won't be worth $1 billion. However, there's a framework in place now that's very robust that will allow startup companies to use a technology like Hyperledger, just for an example, that every user experience has the capability to be captured and tracked, and that user could probably have that as their own for infinity. So what's going to happen, and I'll put this down right now on this channel, it will transfer from that we're creating VR worlds and the metaverse, and what everyone is doing right now is getting their feet wet and figuring it out. AR will become the end product from what VR people are building today. We'll have we'll have our glasses on, or in 50 years we'll have contact lenses or LASIK or some whatever. We can interface it with Neuralink from the Musk department. But the best thing that can happen is that we put our glasses on, they look like a pair of sunglasses, and we are able to draw data in our daily life that's relevant. Right now it's about, like, maybe I played a game and I got a cool weapon. Can I put it to another game? I got points in one game. Can I move it to another one?
Hey, Jeremy,
I think we're at the dawn of it.
of much more, because I was reading and we're hearing things about virtual meetings, virtual real estate. I mean, it goes even deeper than just playing video games as far as where VR is headed.
Absolutely. Just as a technologist opinion, that's awesome, and that will fund the process. Those sort of assets might become less valuable in the future, right? They might become, who knows, right? But I cannot hear you, Karlos.
So when you say less valuable in the future, what does that mean?
I don't want to say worthless, but right now people are buying digital real estate that might become vaporware when what I believe, when the tech gets to that we're just wearing our cool sunglasses out on Sunset Strip, and we're fed the data that we need to see when we're walking down the street, it might not be that we have to even enter a virtual world anymore. If we applied the same things and the same timeline that happened to the internet, and just look at that same curve of tech and what happens with it, fine. Right now it's cool and awesome, but people don't want to have I can't imagine people having headsets on all the time and it's what we have right at this moment.
Here's the question I have, Jeremy.
Yeah.
What's the value in purchasing a virtual home for $300,000?
There's a huge risk, right? I mean, it's right. I mean, it's available, and that's a cool thing that people can purchase. However,
but why?
Look, and I don't want to. Some of the people that I will definitely work for now and in the future, I will create that thing and get paid to do it. However, right, so I have to be, you know what I'm saying? I want to be optimistic. I won't, right? Like you probably might not want to. It could turn into something that's useless in the future. That's all.
Speculation. It's all speculative. Yeah. And what I like and find so fascinating about it is that we literally are in the beginning phases of it. You know, it's kind of like someone would have told you back in '88 that at some point you'd have all the world encyclopedias at your fingertips and able to access them in a split second. I would have sat back and said, oh, no, get out of here, you're tripping. Because we had all the encyclopedias sitting on the shelf over in the corner. And we were limited as far as data and information. But now it's so realistic, the opportunities. I was in one of the virtual sites the other day, and actually I was in a Horizon venues. And as I was there, I was talking to a guy, and he said something to me, and it kind of offended someone that was nearby. And the guy came over in real time and started to cyberbully me. And of course, you know, I blocked him and everything, but it was just instantaneously. It wasn't the same sensation that you would have if I made a post and 1,000 people commented underneath it. I mean, it was like real in your face, confrontational, and it was just out of nowhere. And I thought to myself in that instant, wow, because that's where we're headed. You know, there's no real policing. You know, there's no real restraints. There is literally the wild, wild west when it comes to various aspects of these technologies. And if anything, that fears me more than perhaps the technology itself.
I have a great response back to that as well. So look, as a business person in Detroit, and we all know how it goes down, I also, like you're talking about encyclopedias, I have an eBay store, whatever. However, but what I do with that is find mint copies of National Geographic and have them listed. People buy them like crazy. So the weirdest part about, and the coolest thing about exactly what you said, Karlos, it could be, and it might be, the copies are from the 50s, and people want them for their bookshelves. They want to show a physical copy of something to their children to say, hey, books exist, read a thing. Digital isn't always the best. Owning those properties, it could turn out that in 20 years from now, they become something that ends up on some sort of digital market like eBay or wherever. But that people that they have nostalgia about from like today, right?
Talk. Preach.
You know what I mean? In 2045, it might be that people are like, I bought, like Josh said, right? should I buy the house next to Snoop? I don't know, but like for 300K, maybe in 20 years from now, somebody might go, I'm the first guy that bought digital property. So I'm very open to, like I don't want to shut down any revenue stream for anyone. It might be a thing that turns into a funny digital nostalgia for people, right?
Listen, I agree.
So
And I've said this, and I don't know if it can be, researched, but I said this when I first tried on an Oculus set. There's an intro that you go through in order to learn how to use the device. In the intro, there's a moment where an airplane appears, you pick it up and you throw it. And in that moment, I thought, wow, that was nostalgia for me, because I can remember being a kindergarten, coming home from school, and my uncles would make these paper airplanes for me, and I'd be out in the yard selling them around for hours. I thought, wow, Mark Zuckerberg is on to something here, right? Because until that moment, I was probably like everybody else, like, who cares? Now all of a sudden, I'm trying to consume any and everything that I can find on these technologies because I understand how valuable they're going to be in 2 years, 5 years, 40 years. I was talking to a 25-year-old the other day. He was telling me that he wanted to start a clothing brand and he wanted to do a pop-up shop. And I thought, why? Why, right? In 2022, why do you want to do a pop-up? Well, of course, it has to do something with, whether of course, it's your passion. But at the same time, in 2022, when you read stories about shoe companies that have sold shoes for $3 million in the last quarter and never, ever produced a shoe, they were all digital. Why would you want to open a brick and mortar in your little corner of the world when there's so much more exposure and more to gain through the tools that we have access to now? I don't understand that.
For sure, but that's somebody that might have the same mindset of that in 20 years from now, and that's a youngster. So he's thinking that probably a good investment for him to say, okay, I can, if I'm at least going to be alive till I'm 80,
right?
I got a family or I want one. Who knows? You're going to have 10 kids, possible benefit to them. So, I don't want to, I would hate to downplay anyone's tech and or passion.
Here's a question I have, Jeremy. How far away are we from virtual meetings? Because it sounds like something like that would be very beneficial in the near future. Like, I feel like it would be Zoom as we're doing like this kind of concept, but just on a more mobile level.
Sure. So you have so let's talk about that. Sure. You would like to have maybe a pair of AR glasses. You're walking down the street. I want to get a coffee. I'm sitting at a tea shop, whatever. But what you get in return for that technology investment on your face and some sort of monthly bill, you have the opportunity. It costs, access fees. You'll have the opportunity to sit down with people that you might not have the chance to meet in person. There, as far as I can see, and from research, there is one company right now, and we would have to research and find out who they are. They do have a pair of glasses similar to what we're talking about that would be acceptable. It's really what it's going to come down to is the back end, and the graphics are good. The tech is where it needs to be with making things look realistic and presenting that person's image to the other person that wants to have that conversation. So it's about trust with that other member of that community. Where is that community hosted? Do we put it in the hands of Facebook? Do we put it in the hands of Google? Does Tesla or some sort of organization like that have? Yes, they have the network and the assets to do that. So it's let's say it's within 1 year, and we can
How
start to
about we
sit
say
down
it's
with
like
each
right
other.
now?
It is right now.
It's like right now, right? So listen, this is a platform I use. It's called Spatial. Spatial allows you to do virtual reality work conferences. I also use a platform called Engage XR. And the other, of course, what Facebook is working on, Horizon Rooms, workrooms, specifically for what you're asking. It gives you the opportunity in virtual reality to have that sense of immersiveness, like a feeling of we're together, kind of like right now, right? We sit here and we're looking into these screens, and I don't really have that sensation that I had in Horizon venues when the guy walked into my face and was literally confronting me. It just, it's not there. But these experiences, it's not going to be another year. I mean, the Engage XR, it's been going at this for probably about 6 years now. I mean, heck, you guys have been doing it at Rats Play for a number of years as well, haven't you?
I'm just saying a year for when the common consumer understands and gets a hold of the technology needed to access it, right? There has to be headsets or AR glasses, or people have to get used to sticking the dang thing on their head, and you know what I mean? Like before yes, absolutely available. And look, VR's been around for the past 20 years. You know what I'm saying? When it gets to the consumer level and people feel comfortable with it, 365 days, millions of users.
And that to me is where we're at as far as the bubble about to pop, if not has already popped. We are literally in the dawn of an age where not everyone will get connected. I mean, let's just be real. It is 2022, and I still know people personally who don't have email addresses, right? Not everybody is going to adapt the technology, but
AOL.com does not count.
Yeah, right. See, so, but
people have them, right?
These opportunities, because this is somewhat new to a lot of us, it brings in these opportunities for us to be able to do business better, right? So one of the things that's in our, as we were discussing our tech news, was the fact that, Walmart is saying that they want to get into the space. And so it makes us start to think about, what is going on in this metaverse a lot of us are hearing about. And why is it that Walmart, of all people, is saying that, hey, this is something that we need to pay attention to?
What is it we don't know is what it really comes down to, Karlos. Like, why is Walmart getting involved in cryptocurrency out of nowhere, it appears?
What is it that we don't know?
Yeah, I mean, for the everyday person, what is it we don't know? Like, we better get on the bus.
Right. In other words, there's a lot of money to be made in it. Period. I can't say it any other frank way than that. Would you agree, Jeremy?
Absolutely. Of course, they're going to start to use it for transactions at the checkout. They're going to start to use it to promote items. They'll probably, if they do find success creating their own NFT and currency, most likely they'll start to use that as a transaction means when they purchase I don't know, what do they buy? 9 billion tons of toilet paper, or 1,000 video games or DVDs, or, you know what I mean? Whatever their supply chain back end is doing, if they can convince or show to a purchaser that they have that this is an acceptable means of currency transfer, then hell yeah, they're going to use it. And the cool thing, cryptocurrency, any of sometimes and often they aren't backed by anything besides the people that are chipping in to own those shares, let's say, of that stock. If so, what's right? So when you buy the Walmart coin, or whatever they call it, what you're doing as an investor is that you have this opportunity that that your investment is backed by product. It's backed by the inventory in every store. It's backed by their relationships with the people they purchase items from, and by the customers that are going to the store to buy things. So it's a great play that they have going on. That's like, it's good for everyone. They have a huge opportunity.
I mean, one idea that just came to mind. Of course, any retailer has their own credit card, such as Walmart. Could we be looking at a future where we're seeing currency cards too, like equivalent to a credit card?
That's exactly what it is, Josh. That's exactly, and even as you hear Jeremy explain these different scenarios, the one thing you have to imagine is that ultimately there has to be some regulation of all these, companies that are issuing their own credit. It has to be, because otherwise, the average consumer will stand to lose a lot by the speculators that are upping these prices. It has to. I was listening to one program the other day, and they were talking about how China has banned a lot of cryptocurrency, if not all of them. And you can't even get into crypto unless it's dealing with the national digital currency. Different than crypto, because we understand that the main reason for crypto and all this blockchain technology is because we wanted to make sure that it was decentralized. Jeremy, could you explain to everyone who doesn't necessarily understand what decentralization means, what exactly that is?
Absolutely. So the great thing that happens with, and I mean, well, good or bad, however, opinions divided. Decentralization. So let's say you have an app installed on your phone and you are trading cryptocurrency, whatever it might be. So you go to Android or the iPhone store and install this thing, create an account, and buy 0.00001 shares of Bitcoin for $1. So you're in the game. Your account and your phone is now contributing to that blockchain, and that just means that math is happening on your phone. You are contributing to a huge ledger that is keeping track of all of those transactions. So it's like it's like a billion people being part of one accounting firm. And when any transactions take place, everyone that is a part of that accounting firm has access to that data. So just by your participation, you are contributing to everyone being able to keep track of what has happened when a transaction takes place. So I know, right? As a part of that network, I'm responsible for keeping track of if Karlos bought anything from Josh, and and a portion of that data that is involved in that monetary transaction is on Karlos app or computer. It's on Josh app, and it's on mine because I'm participating. So it's decentralized because all of us are responsible for keeping track of that data, not one central bank or company or Wall Street person or entity. It is absolutely spread out on all of those different platforms. Platforms being our phones, our computers, tablets, whatever else device that we have used to make that transaction.
Here's a good question, Jeremy. Is cryptocurrency comparable to applications like Afterpay or Apple Pay?
I think those serve their own purpose. Those are basically at the point of sale. Cryptocurrency is more like what we all agree that something has a value and that we will trade for it. It's it's cool because it's very the concept is actually old school, right? It would be like, I have a bushel of corn, I need a bunch of hay to feed my livestock. I'll trade you those two things. There is a value that the two of us put together. We're neighbors. We might be two farmers on the same street, even if it's 1,000 acres away. But what we get to do is that there's a market value for those two things, and we get to trade those two things and agree that we'll make that transaction. And the cool thing about it being decentralized is that everyone gets to see that we just did that. So the things like Apple Pay, that's a way to access that, access the value of whatever we traded, and be able to use it for, buy groceries, get, pay gas, whatever put your phone up to the NFC near field communicator on the counter and pay for that. Maybe I didn't need to use all the hay, so I only used half, but now in my Apple Pay, I can use that other half to buy milk. So I think those two things are, to me, they're separate.
Listen, stop. Let me say something. Please, let me say this. There will come a time when those that listen to the Tech School podcast are going to go back and listen to everything that Jeremy is saying right now. Everything that Jeremy
Get out
is
of here,
saying
man.
right
I'm
now.
just, listen, just no, no bias, right? I'm just down to all of it's very good. It's all super cool. Huge opportunity for anybody that wants to learn it or know it, and we have, and with DSDT, let's do some shameless self promotion. We have an opportunity to teach people not what to do with it, just how to use it, right?
Just the tools. We just want to make sure that you have the knowledge and you have the tools, right?
Just to know how to use it. Do whatever you want. It's like
absolutely.
It's like a dad telling son, "This is what money is. This is what you can do with it."
Yep.
Leveled playing field. Leveled playing field up here.
So I just want to ask get into one real quick topic. Now, the whole state of virtual reality, right? And what it will look like in the future. Some of us that have seen it, right? We always refer back to Ready Player One. Is that your idea or ideology as to where the technology is taking us, or the metaverse, so to speak? Did you hear the question?
Great question. I did.
You did? Okay, great.
I think Yeah, let me let that soak in for a second. That's the thing about that is it's fantasy and it's fiction, right? And
Wait, hold on now. Oh. You can't just walk away that quick. What do you mean
listen,
it's just a fantasy?
not
What
no.
does that
Hang
mean?
on, not that it's just. I didn't say just. It, art always and absolutely uh, influences real life, and to the same token, real life influences art.
Right.
It's a very, I mean, it's a story about one person or a couple people, basically. I mean, it's hard to put a blanket statement on what people are going to want to do with the data that's presented to them in
Mm-hmm.
their AR glasses. A grandma might just be like, wow, I want to walk down the street and think about, like, I miss my husband that's passed away, and I have all these great memories about times that we spent together. And I can walk through downtown France, and I'm getting all of these memories are showing up, and pictures pop up, and she might not know that a friend that she is missing lives 2 blocks away, and that could be an opportunity for them to connect. It could be that millennial kids have the AR glasses on, and they're just like, we're gonna freaking party, and this is gonna be the best. A bunch of college students could get together. I mean, like, how many people do you really contact after you get your degree and everyone just goes shooting out from that experience all over the globe with with the education that they just received? Or people in a small neighborhood like Dexter and Davison in Detroit, or like, East of Ross, or like Woodmere Cemetery Street people in Southwest Detroit, they might always be together and realize, wow, you know what, this person has been my neighbor for 10 years, and I think one way and they think a different way, but maybe two things that we like connect. uh, right, like I've lived in LA in Koreatown, and the dudes across the street in the apartment building were the Pico Street Playboys. I would go to the store if I want to get a 40, because that's all I could afford that day, and I had $2. Well, I would get them a few and walk over there, and they would be like, "What's up, not Latino guy?" And right, I'm just saying, and I would hand them a bag of 40s and be like, "You guys are awesome. You always have cool hot rods parked outside, and I'm a huge car nut, and I live right there. If you need anything with computers, call me." So it's the diversity, I think, that will come out of VR is still so infant.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're building technology right now that will allow us to overlay so much data on a pair of sunglasses, and I don't, it's hard to, the imagination can run wild with what cool stuff that we'll be allowed to do with it to solidify, I think, neighborhood, family, country,
Yep.
political relationships, right?
Yep.
Like I'm looking for the togetherness of all that stuff.
Wow.
So
Wow. Listen, my friend, I have thoroughly enjoyed you today. I
thank
have.
you.
I'm so grateful that you were able to come on and share a little bit with us, because I know you have a lot of things going on. Of course, Jason puts me probably up on more of everything that you're doing. And definitively, I want to find a way to partner in the future to be able to bring your vast amount of knowledge to our community of students. You know, that's one of the things that the technology allows us to do. It allows us to be able to connect with those that may not be as fortunate as some of us, right? There was a time when, you know, maybe Jeremy wouldn't come to my neighborhood to be able to explain what it was with the hammer. And if he taught us how to use the hammer, the opportunities that it would open for us. That's the type of communities that we're trying to tap into for ours as we're trying to set another 10,000 students aflight. Jeremy, I appreciate you. I thank you. And promise me that at some point you come back to even explain more to us.
You don't even know what I've been doing lately with these guys. With this whole Rax Play association that I have with them, I have been you would love Jason and I's living room because it is just an office, multiple whiteboards. So what I've been doing with the Rax Play guys is saying, look, we need to duplicate me. We need to get DSDT on board to teach a class that is the Unreal Engine, how to build the back end. So I've been writing down on the whiteboard and sending them photographs of that, and literally.
Right now, there are job opportunities in the tech industry we can train you for. In our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility, classes are beginning monthly in cybersecurity, drone technology, digital marketing, computer programming, film production, and many, many others. If you live in the Metro Detroit area and you're looking to learn a skill local employers are demanding, but one that isn't that of a laborer, at DSDT, you can learn a lot in less than a year.
Hello, I'm Jason Stemmer. I served 5 years as a combat engineer in the United States Army. In the summer of 2019, I joined DSDT to learn advancing technologies in computer support, networking, cybersecurity, and many valuable tools in digital media. DSDT is partnered with a lot of veteran-friendly employers, and with the help of DSDT's job placement assistance, I was able to quickly begin work in the IT field. I'm very pleased with this direction, as there is unlimited potential in the technology field, with no signs of growth or demand ever slowing. So come in for a visit, take a tour, and schedule a meeting with an advisor. DSDT really changed my life for the better, and it can change yours.
At a Detroit School for Digital Technology, we strive to provide students who are willing to learn new and exciting skill sets with a quality education in cutting-edge film technology to include recording in HD and 4K formats, drone videography, editing, and state-of-the-art color grading. Our instructors are friendly, knowledgeable industry professionals who are willing to teach. For more information, call us at 313-263-4200 or visit us on the web at dsdt.tech.
Well, Josh,
Yes.
I think I'm gonna have to apologize for that because that definitely was some technical difficulty.
It happens. It happens.
Right. But I've spoken to Jeremy, and we're going to do a follow-up with Jeremy on a later broadcast. We definitively want to bring him aboard DSDT to see how some of the trainings that they have to offer we'll be able to implement here at the school for the students that we love to get into the industry.
He'll be a great individual to have.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love him. And so that's all that matters. I love him, right?
Very knowledgeable, very thorough.
Right. So next, we kind of want to pivot a little bit.
Okay.
And we want to talk to one of our student guests. His name is Mr. Anthony Scales. Now, I'll tell you right now, Anthony is phenomenal.
All right.
Anthony is a computer programmer. And, you know, I can tell you a lot of great things about him, but why don't we just bring him on and have him do a little talk, see about himself?
Hi, how you guys doing?
Doing well, Anthony. How are you?
I'm all right. I watch you on the news every day.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Early in the morning.
Right? Oh man, we got a fan here. Anthony, tell everybody who you are, your time here at DSDT, and kind of get into the story of what you're doing nowadays.
Well, my name is Anthony Scales. I graduated from DSDT maybe about it's been some years ago, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Probably been about what 3 or 4 years ago.
probably about four.
Yeah, about 4 years ago. So I graduated from there. I learned excuse me, sorry about that. So pretty much I graduated from Michigan State back in 2011. I got my bachelor's in IT. So I did some contracts and I did some contracts after college, after Michigan State to kind of get me into programming a little bit more. But then like about 2 years after that, I figured out that you know the world of IT had changed. The world of web development had changed. So I went on and I did other things. I tried to learn this new way of development on my own, which was single page applications. And I learned that DSDT was actually doing a program for that. So in web development. So I basically went there and I learned single page applications, which in single page applications, they have two languages, I believe Angular and React. React is taking over Angular, but Angular is still really big though.
Mm-hmm.
So basically I went into React. I did some and after that, it just like after I learned that, it just kind of I learned single page applications, and when I went after that, I got a job at Nexian. I did my first project in Angular at Nexian, which is in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and then after that, I did a project in React, and I fell in love with React. I absolutely love React, and from there, after I did React development, I want to do that. Then I went to work at Electrobit under a contract for they do work for Ford. So I worked for for Electrobit and did work for Ford for their infotainment systems, which was really really cool. And then from there, I went on and I worked at J.P. Morgan and Chase under a contract as far as React development. And now that brings me to now, which I'm working at Cognizant as a React developer, and they're a consulting agency and they do work for different companies, all around the world. So the last company I worked with was Amazon, and it was really really cool. I really really enjoyed it and everything. But React is like a front end language. I'm mostly a front end developer, a front end programmer. So.
Okay, so explain to some of the viewers when you say that you are a front end developer. I mean, what is that? What's the difference between the front end and back end side of the house? What does that mean?
So what I do is make sure that the website looks nice. Pretty much the aesthetics of the website. That's what I do. We work in an agile environment. So an agile environment basically consists of tickets, and it has a list of things to do on it. So you have a story, which is basically a list of tasks, all in one. So you go on there and you do that list of tasks, and then you turn in that story and all of that stuff. I won't get into that, but yeah, pretty much. It's aesthetically making the website look nice and making sure that everything works.
So how were you able? I'm sorry, Josh. How were you able to get your feet into opportunities as you've had without having an extensive background in development?
The degrees help. I guess in doing all the contracts, they helped a lot. So that's what I kind of I'm on a full-time position now, but before this, I mean, I worked tons of contracts to get that experience and really learn the ins and outs of programming and what needs to be done and how these corporations worked. You'll find that 50% of the workforce is actually in contracts as far as IT goes. So it's not uncommon for you to be for you to be in a contract role.
See,
Anthony, here are two questions I have for you. What courses did you take at DSDT that apply to your current job now? And when you think about a website, you just made the great point of you work on the aesthetics, you work to make sure the website looks good. You look at countless websites where it's user-friendly, it's simplified, or it's very complex, it's hard to get through. What's the approach in creating a website that looks good, that's easy on the eye?
So the approach is basically different for every company. Every company has their list of demands for the website. So basically, when I say an agile environment, they have something on there. They have them on a website, really, pretty much a list of tickets, like a ticketing website. So they have a list of tickets of what they may want for the website. So what you do is go on the website, look at the list of tickets. You might be assigned a ticket, or you might just, go on there and, I don't know, look for a ticket that hasn't been done yet. And then from there, you'll work on that site. You'll have a stand-up every day with your team. And basically, this is a Scrum environment that I'm describing. So you'll have a Scrum environment every day with your team. So pretty much out of that stand-up, you'll let them know any blockers that you may have. And they'll let you know if they can address any blockers. If they can't, then they'll route you to the person that can address those blockers. And then once you get those blockers taken care of, you'll finish working on the ticket. You'll submit it in something called GitHub. And then when you work with Git, you do that from the coding window. So basically, when you submit stuff from Git, you'll be able to basically go ahead and submit that code to the revision system. Once you submit that code to the revision system, it'll get looked over by the UAT department, or by the UAT is just people that look over the code to make sure that it fits the specifications of the ticket. And the testers will actually go through it and actually test your code. And if something doesn't work, they'll send it back to you. If it does work, then they may send it to production. And that's the whole process. It's a long process, but
it absolutely sounds like it. Look, is there ever a point when you, as a programmer, you program something and it just runs infinitely without you having to go back in and tinker and fix and change and submit any of that stuff?
Most of the time you usually have to change something, but sometimes you don't. I mean, most of the time you do, but like I said, you go through different points where you don't have to change anything.
Would it be easy for me if I was to start today and I would get into programming? How's the job market for a newbie such as myself?
Oh, the job market is beautiful right now. This is the best job market that we've had in years. Okay. And it's crazy because I've been getting a lot of calls lately.
And why is that?
Huh?
Why is that? Why is the job market even better right now?
Because of the pandemic, everybody's doing online work now. So that makes it easier for programmers because we don't have to go to the office anymore. I mean, we don't have to go to the office anyway. So now we really don't have to go to the office. And it's really a great job market. The salaries have went up tremendously.
Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't be as difficult right now if I was to take a programming class to get the skill set to get those entry-level positions.
Well, there's still some competition out there. So I don't know. They said that a lot of people, when I talked to different companies out there, they said that they're getting a lot of people that call themselves developers now. Mm-hmm. Because they took a class online, but you actually have to be in a position to actually understand the stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think there's still competition. There's a lot of competition with entry-level positions. Mm-hmm. I'm more of a mid-level position now. Okay. But like I said, the entry-level positions, it was really hard. I had to do a lot of contracts in order to get that experience. Mm-hmm. But I do think that it's very possible right now. This is the best time to get into development.
Wow. All right. Well, If there was something you could say to someone that would be considering taking a class at DSDT, you being an alum of 4 years ago, what would you say to that person that would be watching this video days to come?
I would probably say you're making the best decision of your life taking a course at DSDT because they're one of the best.
And remember, no one has been paid for the statements made.
No. Full candor. We only take full candor.
Absolutely. I love to hear success. I vividly remember Anthony, of course. Mm-hmm. Anthony was in one of our first programming classes. And we don't necessarily do programming now unless it's asked of us. But he by far was one of the most success. Now here's a little trivia for you guys. And I know he didn't think I was going to do it, but I'm going to do it. You know I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. Anthony, can you tell everybody who's your uncle?
The Judge Greg Mathis. Yeah.
Yes. Wait, so is Jade your cousin?
Yes.
I know Jade from back in the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jade, Kumar, Greg, and Amir.
Yeah. Brother also went to Eastern Michigan University.
Yep, Jade went to Eastern Michigan and she went to Cooley.
No, but also Judge Greg Mathis. He went to EMU.
Yeah, he went to Eastern too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
Yeah.
6 degrees of separation. I got them all. And then your uncle has to be proud of you.
He's very proud.
That's good.
He always tells me, yeah.
Are you living your dream of sorts right now?
For the most part, of course, there's still more I wanna accomplish. I would like to get into like a managerial position. So I would probably want to get into a managerial position. Instead of coding all the time, I code a lot, and I like developing stuff. And I actually would probably like to, actually develop something that people can use.
Okay.
On my own. At least with a company. I mean, I like to think big. Maybe I can make the next Google.
There you
Why
go.
not?
Why not? There you go. I like that. Can I be on your Google squad?
Yeah.
Put Josh and I down on your board.
I'll be your spokesperson.
He'll be the face of the brand. Right? Yeah, that's what I'm often thinking about. Like, right, you get all this experience, you get all this knowledge, but ultimately, what's the exit strategy? Right? I mean, managing is great, and there's a lot of opportunity in it, but oh man, wouldn't it be beautiful if you could create the next Google? And we just had Jeremy on, and I'm sure we could put it in virtual reality somewhere.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
You two just kind of came up with the concept just by conversing with each other.
Yeah, well, some of us, I'm living, eating, sleep, breathing it like he is React and Angular. Do you know any Python?
I know a little bit of Python. I did Python back in college.
Okay. So, and this is probably one of my better and last questions. Do you continue to learn even though you're not officially in a class right now?
Yeah, see, the good thing about udemy.com, the good thing about Cognizant is we get Udemy free.
Okay.
So we can basically go on udemy.com and download any courses we want. And it could be in anything. I mean, I take courses right now as far as a React. I'm learning React Native right now, which is the mobile version of React. So, React and React Native are the hottest things in development right now. I'll say that as far as that goes. But
what type of development? Because you got to qualify it for me now.
I just do front end development. So okay. I do I do HTML, CSS, the JavaScript, and React.
Okay, fair enough.
And that basically gets it all. So I don't touch Angular. So I mostly just do React, and I'm learning React Native right now.
Wow. Bravo. 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 Anthony, I definitely want to appreciate you for sharing a little time with us today and some insight as to what your experience at DSDT was, what you have going on now, and that road to success that you're on. And man, I really appreciate everything because this is what it's about. You know, we learned early on that we have some heck of a stories that are coming out of DSDT. And the more that we share, the more individuals see themselves in an Anthony, right? Because you're carbon copy of myself. And that's probably one of the biggest things that I love about the work that I do. I appreciate you. Josh and I thank you, and we'd love to have you come back at some point to give us an update, okay?
All right, thank you.
That new Google, we'll be looking for it.
Yeah, right. All right. And so one of the things that we didn't get into, Rax Play, Jeremy, who was on earlier, is a company that's founded right here in Detroit as well. And they're out of Tech Town. And they've won a lot of awards in the VR space. So definitely we want to continue to look at African-American founders that are doing great things in the tech space. All right. All right. Take care, my friend. Appreciate you.
Whoo, season 3 underway on fire.
See? So in the upcoming weeks, we definitely want to bring on more individuals like these two. You know, we want to talk to our community and give them some insight and some information about what's going on in the world around them. You know, I don't want nobody else to say I didn't know. I've never heard of that.
No excuse.
There's no excuse whatsoever. And if you haven't heard of it, then it's okay to go sit down somewhere and educate yourself. It's okay, right? I was sitting the other day and I was talking to a gentleman and I was asking him about the last book he read. He said, I don't read. I said, you listen to podcasts, any audio? He said, no, I don't listen to audios. I said, what do you do? He said, I just go to work. Wow. Wow.
No judgment, but we both know, and everyone who's watching now, you limit yourself with that approach.
My point being is we all have to continue to educate ourselves.
Yes.
Period.
Every day.
Period. I don't care where you get your information from. I definitely don't. I would care that it's of a reputable source.
Absolutely.
Right? But at the same time, just get some information to continue growing, to be a better version of yourself. And to me, that's what it's about. Let's open up our minds. Let's dive a little bit more into the technologies that are coming. Now, we go to Walmart every day, a lot of us. And when Walmart says that, hey, we're getting into the metaverse space, everybody should stop and pay attention.
That's a sign.
Right?
A huge sign.
Now, I'm waiting for when they say Kentucky Fried Chicken. When Kentucky Fried Chicken goes into the metaverse, what? What?
Hey, think of Popeyes, how long that line is going to be then.
Chick-fil-A in the metaverse.
It appears that is coming.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm waiting for it too. Let me I can put my glasses on, and you mean to tell me I have a big old chicken leg in front of me? I can't wait for it. Man, that'll be the day. That will be the day. Josh, I appreciate you today, sir.
Hey, Carlos, I appreciate you as well. I mean, this is off to a great start for the 3rd season. Much more to come, my friend. Kickoff 2022.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that will do it for the Tech School podcast powered by DSDT. That's Carlos. I'm Josh. See ya.
See ya.